There are some wonderful biblical characters who display deep emotions, some that are obviously good and God-given. So we see David dancing before the Lord in his joy and in his worship of God. But we also see him in the depths of depression, when many of the Psalms speak of feeling like God has forsaken them, feeling that all their enemies are against them, feeling like their bodies are turning to dust or to back to the earth. And then we look at what I would call the suicidal saints of Job, who said, "I wish I'd never been born," in his experience of profound grief. So grief, that I didn't mention before, is another deep emotion that is God-given, but can be incredibly painful and powerful in our lives. And so Job, in his experience, and he describes so vividly the physical effects of deep grief. And then Elijah, runs from the prophets of Baal, this great victory, runs 200 miles into the desert, hides in a cave, and says, "Lord, I've had enough, I want to die." He's exhausted. God has given him food and drink on the way because he needed that. Sometimes there are physical causes. And then God comes and just encourages him, restores him. And then if you think of Moses, another situation which ends up with him saying, "I want to die, I've had enough. I can't be a leader of this vast congregation of 2 million people in the desert. They're angry, you're angry. I'm caught between these, I'm burned out. I've had enough." Very different reasons coming to the end point. And then with Jonah, he gets to a similar place. So he's angry with God that God is not judging Nineveh when he said he would. And he's angry that God is gracious and forgiving. And Jonah says, "Well, if you're a God like that, I don't want anything to do with you. I'd rather out of this. Take my life." And each of these, it's fascinating how God comes and just speaks gently to them in a way, and sometimes a little more sternly with Job, for example. But except he doesn't blast them with a sermon that says, "You're a hopeless person, I don't want anything more to do with you. You're dismissed from my service." He is compassionate, takes them back and restores them again. So those would be some examples of strong, deep emotions. And there are obviously, Paul expresses passions for the gospel and for the people that he is serving, and so there are good emotions on that side too.